Bench is a piece that has been my calling card now for the past few years. The Bench, a homeless love story. I wrote the first draft when I was talking with August Wilson back in 1986 and 87 in New Haven. He was there working with Lloyd Richards at Yale University. The structure of The Bench evolved over time. It really came down to discovering that there was one character who was going through something, traveling a journey, and was potentially going to be changed or not changed. And everybody else was serving that particular cause, that arc. And at the same time, everybody else had something at stake with this particular character's journey. There is something at risk for everybody. There is a reward or a loss for everybody based on what this guy goes through, and that's Joe. Joe's in love with somebody, he won't admit it. It's real simple. It's a real simple structure. But simplicity is great because now you see how complex human beings are with their behaviors over such simple things. The guy can't admit he loves this woman, so he goes out and he basically trashes her all the time. This has an effect on everybody else in their little community. They're all not getting along because of this. And finally, they basically tell the guy to man up. Go tell her you love her. It's as simple as that. Go tell her you love her. For him, it's as simple as that, according to them. But for him, it's not that simple because he lost love in his heart years ago. He had been through so many different things that destroyed his hope, his sense of hope, that he didn't know that he could find love again, and he was afraid to find love again. But funny, 4 other vagabonds gave him the courage to go face it and give it a shot. So he does. He goes and he professes his love to this woman, and she rebuffs him. She resists, just like him. She's hardened. She doesn't want anything to do with it. It's too vulnerable and soft of a place to be. It's scary. It's easier to just put the wall up and have this thick layer in front of everybody and everything in life. And he continues to persist, and she sees him in a different way. He's coming to her in a different way than he normally does. She relents a little bit. She doesn't give him the full on, yeah, I'm with you, buddy. But she gives him a little window into the possibility that she might love him back. Just a tiny window. He has no guarantees. He's got no promises. But he knows that there's a tomorrow and he'll see her again, and life just might be different. The budget, I used to cringe at thinking about budgets, but now I love the budget because the budget is the roadmap. The budget is one of the roadmaps. Once you have to put down the line items of every single cost, everything that needs to be done, you now have just put down the list of tasks that have to be taken care of. And it's not so much worrying about how much that cost. It's like, oh my gosh, I do need this. I do need that. Do I need that? And it can change. You got to be fluid. It's got to be able to change. Yes, I wanted wild projections of city imagery during my show. And then I realized for many different reasons, money, cumbersome, technology, it might not be practical wherever I go. So what I did was I blew up giant images from the graphic novel that we made of the play. But the graphic novel, we took the images from that and made the set that, which was beautiful and brilliant. How to get your play produced in Hollywood, off Broadway, on Broadway. One thing is it's got to be good. It's got to be enjoyable. People have to want or like it. For me, I discovered it when I asked J.O. Sanders, who's a well-known actor, to direct it. I knew not only he's a friend and I love his work, but I also knew his name recognition was going to bring Chris Noth into the mix, and then Barry into the mix, and then my investor into the mix. So you got to have a good product. You got to have a good play. You got to have a good screenplay. But you then have to put together a team that's compelling, and you got to have a little trickery, if you will. I mean, when I called Chris Noth up, I said, Jay's pretty close to being in. He'd love to do it. And when I called Jay, I said, hey, Chris is pretty close to being in. He'd love to do it. And as soon as I said Jay was in, Chris was like, oh, well, if Jay does it, I will. Well, Jay's like, oh, I'll do it. So Chris is in it? Oh, great. And the simple thing they had to do was do what I asked them to do, which was be a presenter.